Howdy folks, I'm Argumentative Arugula, ardently arguing about arduous activities.
I'm Amber.
And here are more arduous activities for us to argue about, mostly Reddit and whether or not it counts as a hobby. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling Her It Makes Me Uncomfortable That She Shares Custody with Her Dog, with her brother? I'm a 37-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 23-year-old female and has a twin brother, and they share a dog named Max, an older gentleman who recently turned 15. Max is great, but I find it a bit annoying that my girlfriend and her brother act like a divorced parents with shared custody. For example, they have a calendar to track when Max stays with us and when he stays with her brother. They also split Max's expenses 50-50, and the most frustrating part is that my girlfriend calls herself Max's mom, and her brother refers to himself as Max's dad. I brought this up with my girlfriend, telling her it made me uncomfortable because it felt like she had a child with her brother. She said that I was making it weird, explaining that when they call themselves mom and dad, they don't mean that Max is their shared child. Instead, it's because ever since they adopted Max 15 years ago, they've never agreed who they belong to. So when she says that she's Max's mom, she means it like, I'm the dog's mom and my brother is the uncle. When her brother calls himself dad, he means it, I'm the dog's dad and my sister is the aunt. I told her that I understood that, but it still feels like they're parents of the dog with a good divorce agreement. She responded, well, I want Max full time, but my parents are making me share with my brother, or they'll take Max back to live with them. So it is what it is. I find it ridiculous. How can her parents take a dog if she doesn't share it? She is an adult with her own place and pays her bills. She insists that I'm the one making it weird. Am I the jerk for telling her that this makes me uncomfortable? Alright folks, what do you think? Perfectly reasonable or not at all?
Not reasonable. I think OP is definitely the jerk here. I don't think it's weird to share pets with your siblings. Like, they got this pet when they were, preteens. He's been, or even younger than that, like they get this dog when they were kids.
Okay, they've had this dog longer, and then the age gap between OP and the girlfriend, right?
Yeah, I mean, the age gap is a bit uncomfortable, and we can get to that in a moment, but, just kind of focusing on the dog aspect, this dog is important to both siblings, and it sounds like they have a healthy way that they both can parent this dog, who is getting up there in years and has been a beloved part of their family for so long.
So I think that this is a perfectly reasonable thing that the siblings are doing, right? And OP wants to know, how can the parents do this? Well, guess what? The parents own the dog.
Right.
Right? I mean, sure, the dog is probably listed as their pet.
Right.
For
the veterinary
and stuff
records.
Like that. So, yeah, if anyone owns the dog, it's the parents. So that's how they can take the dog back. Now, as for the agreement between OP and her brother, is reasonable. I mean, I think that OP is making this weird because it's not like OP gave birth. It's not like OP's girlfriend gave birth to this dog.
Right. Like, it's a pet. People share pets with their siblings. It's not weird.
Yeah.
Like, we had a childhood cat, Joey, and, like, we all kind of considered him our cat. But, and that's a very common things for people to do is, you all love the childhood pet like it's your own.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's weird, but not as weird as the age gap. I mean, I don't think it's weird, but I think the age gap is weird. That's what I meant to say here.
I mean, I think the age gap is concerning. And maybe if OP doesn't want people who have childhood pets to share with their siblings around, he should date in his own age bracket.
Well, okay, and the thing is this, right? I don't normally make a big deal out of age gaps because I don't think that they're necessarily something that is that big of a deal. I mean, I know some people really have a strong opinion on age gaps. I don't. I think that, like, generally, as long as people are happy and in a healthy relationship, it's not a problem, right?
Right.
But the fact that OP is showing so much insecurity
over a dog
makes me really concerned for how controlling he is in this relationship.
Right. Well, he's obviously, he's very insecure over a dog. Like, nobody is going to think that his girlfriend is the dog's biological mother and she had this kid with her brother because it's a dog.
Yeah. So that concerns me. It really does. I think that OP maybe should go and talk to a therapist if they're this uncomfortable about this, because this is a clearly them problem and not a girlfriend problem. So I think that that would be a good place for OP to start. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Chibi Sailor Mercury says, Dear Reddit, I am unable to date a woman my age, so I date college-age young women. Now to my conundrum. My girlfriend shares a dog with her brother. It's way weirder than dating a person 14 years your junior, am I right? I am so uncomfortable with this benign situation that is the middle ground reached between two siblings. Am I the jerk here? You're the jerk for being weird about stuff that isn't weird and casual about stuff that is weird. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for leaving my sister's wedding early after she told me that I couldn't bring my service dog? Background, I'm a 27-year-old female and I have a service dog due to severe anxiety and PTSD stemming from a traumatic event a few years ago. My sister, a 30-year-old female, knows my situation and the importance of my service dog in helping me function in social situations. My dog is trained and well behaved. Well, last weekend, my sister got married. When I RSVP'd, I indicated that I would be bringing my service dog with me. A few days before the wedding, she called me, visibly stressed, and she said that while she understands my need for the dog, she felt that it would be disruptive and might make some of the guests uncomfortable. She asked if I could attend the ceremony and reception without him. I explained that I rely on my service dog, especially in stressful situations like wedding, but she insisted that it would ruin the perfect day if guests were distracted or photos were ruined by the dog being in them. She offered to have someone stay with me to help if I felt anxious, but I politely declined, reiterating that my service dog was essentially for my well-being. On the day of the wedding, I decided to attend the ceremony without my dog, but after a few hours at the reception, I started feeling overwhelmed and decided to leave early. Explaining my situation to my sister, she was visibly upset and later sent me a long text accusing me of making her wedding about myself and not compromising on her big day. Now my family is divided. Some understand why I had to leave, and others think that I should have stayed and toughed it out for my sister's sake. I am feeling torn and unsure if I handled the situation correctly. Am I the jerk for leaving my sister's wedding early because I wasn't allowed to bring my service dog? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. And honestly, like, OP went above and beyond. Like, it would have been totally acceptable to just stay home because she couldn't have her dog there she needed. She went without her dog.
How is what she did not a compromise?
It's not even just a compromise. It's basically catering to her sister's demands, you know, and she did as much as she felt comfortable with. And I really think we need to stop normalizing this idea that you have to be at the wedding until the end.
Yeah. Well, I think that she prioritized her mental health in this situation. And OP absolutely should have prioritized her mental health. Because at the end of the day, the only person who has to live in their mind is OP. And OP needs to do what they do to stay healthy and to help them, you know, navigate the world in a healthy way. And they need to feel safe with being able to leave these situations, right?
Right. Well, and if she had started having a panic attack or some sort of other PTSD response, her sister would be like, how dare you make this day all about me anyway? Like, she was kind of in a lose-lose situation because if she stays and things get too much for her to handle, and she has an emotional response, then she's the villain. But if she leaves, she's also the villain and making this about her. Yeah,
and I think that that's really a travesty here, right? And I think the sister was just looking for something to pick on her about because OP was very reasonable. I mean, she stayed for 2 hours. How is that not a decent amount of time to stay for a wedding?
Well, exactly. Like, I tend to cut out of receptions well before, like, the wedding is over just because it's a lot, you know, and I really think we need to normalize people not forcing themselves to be uncomfortable and pushing themselves beyond what they can handle.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to inherit the family farm and giving it to my younger brother instead? I'm a 36-year-old male, and I grew up on a big farm that was owned by my family, who worked as farmers for generations. Much to the detriment of my parents, I hated the farm life from a very young age. I never liked dirt or grime, and farm animals were never my thing. So no one surprised when I left the farm when I turned 18 and never looked back. I currently live in a big city. I still love my family very much and I visit the farm from time to time, but I'm always the happiest when I return to my urban lifestyle. My mother passed away 3 years ago, and 2 months ago, I unexpectedly lost my father due to a work accident. This left my younger brother, Tom, a 30-year-old male, and I as the sole beneficiaries of their estate. I didn't expect to be left much since my folks helped me out financially more than enough times while they were still alive. I honestly only wanted a couple of family trinkets and heirlooms to keep as keepsakes. But, to my surprise, as my brother and I sat down with an attorney to discuss my father's will, we discovered that I was left the majority of the farm, about 3/4 of it, while Tom was left the rest. The only reason I can fathom behind this decision is that, unlike Tom, I have 2 children, a 10-year-old male and a 7-year-old female. So maybe that's why I was given a bigger share, but I'm not entirely sure, since my children had their own inheritance and the will as well. Either way, this split of the inheritance was ridiculous, since unlike myself, Tom actually lived on the farm and dedicated his entire life to working on it alongside our parents. I saw that Tom was also shaken up by the decision, so I reassured him that I found it absurd as well, and I didn't mind forfeiting the land to him. Tom said that I didn't have to do that, but I insisted. After some back and forth on the topic, we mutually agreed to settle this between ourselves on a later date, when everything would be transferred under our names as our parents intended. I recently informed my wife, Jules, a 35-year-old female, of my decision regarding my inheritance, and she was furious with me for wanting to give up most of it. She is arguing that my decision is impulsive and short-sighted, since the farmland is worth a fortune and I'm just giving it away without a second thought. I told her that the land is worth a fortune only for those who actually intend to do something with it. And since I neither intend to sell it or farm it, it's effectively useless to me. Jules continued to say that it might be useless to me, but I think that I should think about our children who might one day want to start farming. I told her in that case I'll transfer only half of the land to Tom, so our children could have a quarter of the land at their disposal in the hypothetical scenario that they get into farming one day. Jules is now not speaking to me until I reconsider my decision. I need to hear some unbiased opinions to see if I'm in the wrong here. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, I think OP's wife is seeing dollar signs, and that's not good. It seems like this farm is deeply meaningful to Tom, and it's really generous of OP to, and the right thing for OP to want to make sure that Tom gets his fair share. And I think, if they think the kids might want to farm someday, sure, keep half of the land, but make sure that Tom has his due so he can continue to run the farm and, live there and everything.
Yeah, well, $5 says that in the future, in a year or two, she'll be like, well, we never use that farmland. Can we sell it?
Right. She has no attachment to this land or this property. She just wants the money.
And I think that this is, I think that OP's reasoning here is really nice. I think it's really good. And if he wants, he can talk to Tom about, setting up a situation where, maybe his kids can work on the farm or work towards inheriting a part of the farm or something to that effect. But I think that what's important here is that the farm stays in the family and that the family is able to continue the tradition of farming the lands. And I don't think the wife understands how hard farm labor is. It's really intensive work. Right.
Well, and she also seems to have no regard for Tom whatsoever. Yeah. She seems to, because this is his livelihood, and she seems to be like, it's no problem if we steal this right out from under him.
Yeah. Chances are that the will was just set up a long time ago, and that the original split was, one consideration or another. And I'm really just hoping that it was an oversight and that the father didn't have a chance to actually change the will to something a little bit more fair.
Yeah, I mean, my guess from it might be the OP's angle with the kids, because there are like 3 direct descendants in that family and only 1 for Tom, which isn't necessarily a great reason, but that would be my best guess of the split.
Yeah, so I think that if anything, it would have been a fair 50-50 split, but since OP doesn't use that land, what good does it do? Is OP going to collect rent from his brother for using the farmland? Is OP going to come down and, start becoming a farmer? I mean, how fast will the wife change her mind when OP says, hey, okay, you're right, maybe we'll keep this land and we'll go work on the farm?
Yeah, I mean, that might be the way to go, is to be like, I've given this a lot of thought. Let's go move down there and farm it and see how long it takes her to change her tune.
I'm sure she will change her tune before OP can finish getting the words out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard work, and I think that maybe she has dollar signs in her eyes, and I can understand from her point of view a little bit, right? Because like she's seeing that this opportunity for their future, it's a lot of money that maybe OP is giving away, type of thing, but she's not really understanding like the cost of the whole thing, right? Like if OP sells this land, then that's less land that his brother has to farm, right? And where his brother has made this his livelihood, is that really fair to take away someone's livelihood just because you want to earn some extra money? I mean, what does she really want out of this situation? Does she want rents from the brother? I don't know.
I mean, I think she just wants cold hard cash. It doesn't seem like she cares about Tom at all, and doesn't care if she destroys the sibling relationship.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And hell yeah, So Loud says, at the very least, you should have a caveat that if or when the farm is sold, you get 50%. Leave in your name on the 50%. Otherwise, just leave it to him in your will. There will be hard feelings on what your family is missing out on if he walks away with millions, and it's entirely possible that he could decide to sell and live a bachelor's life on a nice island for 5 to 10 years. You're the jerk for putting no value on your very valuable inheritance while you have a family to look out for. You could die in a car crash, then your family has nothing? And OP replies, I can assure you that even if I pass away tomorrow via a car crash, my family won't go hungry. I have good savings. I own 2 fully paid for apartments in the middle of a city, and thanks to my parents, both my children now have very generous college funds at their disposal. I also highly doubt that Tom would ever sell the farm. The guy just called me last week bawling because he lost his favorite sheep. He loves the farm, and to an extent, so do I. Which is why I'm giving it to a responsible owner who can take good care of it. However, I'll mention the caveat idea to Jules, perhaps it'll ease her mind. And Significant Planter says, has your wife always been really greedy, or is this the first time you're seeing it? I also live on a farm, and I feel for your brother. I lost a chicken last week, and I was crying my eyes out. You're doing the right thing, but the right thing doesn't matter to her because she wants money. That's why she mentioned how much it's worth. She doesn't want you and your brother to keep it. She wants the 2 of you to sell it to somebody who's going to pay a ton of money for it. Honestly, this isn't her business, and your parents started this problem by not doing the right thing to begin with. I think that they wanted you to move back, and that's why they did it. But either way, your brother deserves it, and she needs to quit seeing dollar signs. Just tell her that even if you retain your shares, you're not going to sell it, and you're going to let your brother live there for free. Will that work for her, or is she going to insist that you sell it for full value? And OP replies, I don't know if I would classify Jules as greedy. I think that she cares more about the financial future of her children than she cares for Tom, which is fair enough, since she didn't spend 2 days in labor giving birth to Tom like she did to our children. I know that she's right in the sense that selling the land would secure our children's future, but I love my brother too much to do something like that. Jules is an only child, so my guess is that she just doesn't understand how deep a sibling bond can be. So I get why my decision may look irrational to her. I'm still debating on what to do with the land. I managed to secure a meeting with a financial advisor for next week, and I hope seeing him would give me more clarity about the situation. Either way, as long as I'm alive, Tom would always be allowed to farm the land. So I do plan on giving most of it back to him. Still, it wouldn't hurt to see a financial advisor and have a clear agreement about what would happen if Tom ever sells the land, even though I highly doubt that he would do that. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What is the ghost's favorite beach?
Oh, I guess the ghost's favorite beach is the one that is hidden from sight. Spared behind the curtain, behind the veil, where no mortal can pass.
Malibu.
Oh, well, that might be it. And I have licorice spice. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on awkward situations.
There are a lot of things in life that may be a bit difficult and awkward to talk about, and it's best to approach them with kindness, compassion, and a level head.
I think that's good advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!